What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. I'm here. We're going to talk about a heated debate in the sports and basketball world community that's been going on for some time. And I'm bringing in somebody with a, expertise and an expert, take on this. And it's the comedy legend, Aries Spears, coming in live on the phone. Aries, how you doing?
Yo, what's good, brother? How you?
I'm all right, man. Appreciate you for coming through, man.
I apologize for all the delays and the kinks, but that's how it goes sometimes. But thank you, man.
Yeah, I understand. You're a busy man, and I appreciate you for sticking with it. So as far as this MJ and LeBron discussion, this is a heated, discussion that really is between people that ain't seen Jordan play versus a lot of new generation people that think that LeBron is so great. And this is a barbershop conversation. But one of the things that I want to get from you is, from you being a comedy legend, you have met a lot of legendary people, including a lot of hoopers. You've been on Shaq Comedy All Stars. You've met a lot of hoopers. What is their take on this subject?
Well, I mean, there might be a couple of them that say that LeBron is the GOAT, but the majority of them claim Michael to be the GOAT. And this is guys that have either played against him, played with him, guys that have played against and with LeBron. And the general consensus is that the majority of the players that played in the NBA say Michael's the best. And they say that if he certainly played in this era with lack of physical defense and, the softness involved in the NBA now, he would easily average 50.
Yes. On my show, I do a little sports topic every Tuesday. And I was talking to some guys, and I was telling them that without even a doubt, like you say, Mike could average 50. I agree. But I broke it down to like even a bare minimum. Jordan could average 40 in his sleep. He averaged 37 without shooting threes his third year in the NBA. And I told him, if James Harden can average 36 today, what would Mike do? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
exactly.
What do you think Mike would have been able to shoot threes if he would have played today, or would he adjusted his game, or would he just, did nothing?
I think it showed everybody, that he could do anything. I mean, there truly were no weaknesses in his game. So, if he wanted to shoot threes, he could shoot threes. But if he wanted to, and the older he got, obviously his athleticism diminished a little bit. And then that's when he became a strong post-up player. And he, shot that patented fadeaway three.
Yeah.
I mean, fadeaway.
That Kobe had took.
Yeah. So, Mike's game was totally complete in all facets. So, I don't think there's anything he couldn't have done that he didn't want to do.
Right. Definitely, man. I agree. And so, another thing, some of these guys, they like to say that, they don't put an emphasis on Mike showing up to work every day and playing 82 games. What you think about Mike playing 82 games and the difference of these brothers today don't come to work every day?
Well, again, I mean, I always commented, like, I think it's so funny that the first thing all these young people say today is today's athletes are bigger, stronger, faster, more athletic. But yet during the season, these guys take rest. They do load management. Back in the 80s and the 90s, not only was the defense tougher and more physical, and they beat you up when you come down the lane, and what constituted as a foul was damn near assault. But they played all 82 games. They were more durable. So I don't understand why people keep trying to run with the bigger, stronger, faster narrative when, the proof is in the film.
Right.
Guys played 82 games.
Yeah. For real. Now, what you think about when people say, well, LeBron got better stats or Kobe scored more points? What do you think? What's your take on that?
Well, people call LeBron the GOAT, and I'm still partly scratching my head trying to figure out how the hell did he get past Kobe.
Right.
I don't even think he's better than Kobe. And Kobe himself told you on The Last Dance that everything you see from me, I got from him. So if you want to put Kobe above MJ, in and of itself is crazy when Kobe Bryant himself has told you that everything he got, that you see him do, he got from the man that created the blueprint.
Right.
And this stat about LeBron having gone to the finals, was it 10 times? He's won 4 out of 10.
Right.
Okay, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So if people want to say, well, Michael Jordan got knocked out the first round a lot. Nobody, you lose more than you win. Nobody comes in the league and wins immediately. Everybody loses and gets knocked out before they win. The only player to win when he came right into the league was Magic Johnson.
Right.
He won his first year when Kareem didn't play in the finals because of the injury.
Right.
And that was the historic game where Magic played at center.
Right.
He had a ridiculous triple-double. He's the only guy to win a championship his rookie year.
Yeah.
But people are most remembered by how they finish. How they start. And Mike finished 6-0 in the finals, 6-time finals MVP, never went to a game 7, and is undefeated.
That's
if
right.
you ask me what stat means more to me, I would rather be 6-0 than 4-10.
Right. That's facts right there. And also, not many people, when they drafted as a rookie, get to play with legendary Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the game.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they don't do that.
Throw in Worthy later.
Exactly. As well as many other legendary players the Lakers had always with Magic. But, Magic, I ain't taking nothing away from Magic, but, he had came into a better situation than most rookies do.
Exactly. I always tell people, look, put it like this. Would you rather have a big dick that works sometimes 4-10 or an average size dick that works all the time 6-0?
Right. That's true. You might be, got a big one, but it only lasts a minute. So.
Right. Give me average joint.
Right.
Roll with what works.
Hey, for real. I'm sure the ladies agree with that one too. Yeah. So what you think about, because I was also telling these dudes that Jordan never had a stacked team. He played with a good team, and he helped Scotty become Scotty. And then they say, well, Jordan never won nothing without Scotty. Well, no, Jordan was a star before Scotty came. Scotty played damn near 10 years without Mike. He never won without Mike.
Listen, man, Mike was an alpha dog from jump. And a lot of these people who say that, I don't really think they paid attention to what was said to The Last Dance. Again, Scottie Pippen said he needed Mike to put him up to his wing. He needed Mike to groom him. Mike turned him into alpha dog. Mike was already alpha dog. And it's like, yes, they both needed each other. But don't get it twisted. When Michael left, Scottie could have went. But when Michael came back, they went back to winning. So while they needed each other, one needed one more than the other.
Right. And remember, even in The Last Dance, they showed Scotty couldn't do it. He didn't want to go in the game. He throwing the chair and stuff.
And it's called leadership.
Yeah.
It's called leadership. That's called mental fortitude.
Right.
And that's what, when people constantly go, well, how was Mike the greatest? About rings, then Robert Horry got 7. Got 11.
Right.
Kareem had titles. People don't understand there's a lot of ingredients that make up a gumbo recipe. It ain't just about one thing. It's about an accumulation of things. Michael Jordan may not have 11 rings, but Bill Russell doesn't have the impact that Michael had.
Right.
Michael changed the game. Michael made it global. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar made the #1 score, but his impact wasn't the same.
Right.
In terms of, he wasn't friendly with the media. He wasn't approachable with the fans.
Right.
He didn't help elevate the game to another level from a personality standpoint and from a media standpoint the way Michael did.
Right.
Put all that into an account. And when you talk about rings, I hate when people bring up the Robert Horry thing, because I always say there's a difference between being the reason you win and winning for a reason.
Right.
Guys like Michael Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, these are the guys that led their franchise. Reggie Miller, I could go on and on.
Right.
Dr. Malone, Barkley, those guys were the reason their teams won. Guys like Robert Horry, right time, is winning for a reason.
Right. Right.
Major difference.
Yeah, he wasn't even an all-star. He was a role player, which, you know, you need them, but they are replaceable. You know what I mean?
He fell into good situations.
Damn right.
He was with a team who was the reason his teams won, so he copped to.
Right.
He was with the Lakers, Kobe and Shaq, the reason why their teams won, so he copped. Who was that? Three? Well, I mean, copped with them. Three?
Yeah, I think 2 or 3.
So
same with Houston and San Antonio.
Houston caught 2, so that's 5. San Antonio 2, so that's 7.
Right.
Those guys, look at those teams.
Right.
Kobe and Shaq were the main guys. Hakeem was the main guy. Duncan and Robinson was the main guy. It's a major difference.
Damn right. Damn right. And I got a theory about big men, why I could never say they the best. Because no big man can take the ball up court and get his own shot. Every big man, whether it's Kareem, Bill Russell, whatever, they had to have a point guard with them to win. Kareem needed Oscar Robertson and Magic to bring him the ball, to get him the ball. Kareem can't just take over the game like a Mike, Kobe, even a LeBron.
Well, I would disagree with you a little bit on that, because even still though, even if you have to bring the ball up the court, you got to go with who the dominant player is. And when you got a guy like Shaq, who back in his prime was dominant and unstoppable in the paint, you can't ignore that.
That's
you don't
true.
win those rings without Shaq.
That's true.
Hakeem Olajuwon, you don't win those rings without him. Kareem, you don't win those rings without him.
Yeah.
That dominant center is important. So, you know, I hear what you're saying about the point guard being kind of like the quarterback.
Right.
But even the quarterback needs to be able to either hand it off to the star running back or get it to the wide receiver who's going to make the touchdown catch.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. And another thing about Bill Russell era, it was only like 6 teams. Like only him and Wilt was over 7 feet. You know what I mean? Like,
you know,
6'11".
People like, come on, man. I'm not taking anything away from Bill Russell, but he played in an era where there was only 3 niggas in the whole league. And they didn't even play 82 games. And they didn't have as many teams.
Right.
Like Larry Bird said it himself. Basketball is a black man's game. The best players are black. And if you come from an era where black players weren't allowed to play to the level that they are today,
right.
No taking anything away from Bill Russell, but come on, man, you kind of have to put an asterisk near his success.
Right.
He played in an era where he was a midget amongst men, and yes, being that black players are the best players, there was only 3 niggas in the league.
Right.
So of course he's supposed to win a legend.
Right, right. That's why Wilt averaged 50 points and 25 rebounds one season.
Come on, man.
And didn't come out the game. He played every minute.
Come on, man.
He was playing against people that worked at Ace Hardware. Like, come on, man.
It's like a box with a toddler.
Right.
Out of here.
Right, right. So yeah, they stats is amazing, but it's not, it can't even compare in today's league. It's too competitive, and you know, it's way too many teams, and half the players in the league back then wouldn't even make the NBA today. You know, so they were still shooting free throws underhanded with 2 hands and stuff. Half the league. So all right, so another person they be trying to say when I'm on the show, and I'm not taking nothing away from Dennis Rodman, and I know you've been working on your Rodman impression. So what people be talking about Rodman or whatever, what would Rodman say about Jordan if he was here to talk?
Well, Michael Jordan was a great player, and everybody knew Michael was the so he's a dominant player. He's Michael Jordan. He's Michael Jordan. Nobody's going to be better than him. You know, Scottie Pippen was great. Scottie Pippen is still great. Some of the best coaches. And I just say that when we were a Rockstar King, some people want to play us. I said, that's good. What's up? Let's rock.
Right, right. And so Rodman was a beast, don't get me wrong. And people be talking about some of these people like Rodman was, you know, helping them to be a great team, which he did. But the truth is that was Rodman's really his last 3 years in the NBA. You know, he was at the end of his game. You know,
Not only that, people like to say that you know, the Bulls that 96, 87, 98 Bulls was a super team, which is ridiculous because you know Michael Jordan was a superstar, Scottie Pippen, yes, was a superstar. No team wins a championship without at least two superstars. Dennis Rodman played a role.
right.
Dennis Rodman happened to be the best rebounder the game has ever seen, but his job was specifically to rebound and play defense, and he was a great defender. So I don't know that they can call that a super team because Rodman's on the team.
Right, right. And the Last Dance, and one thing people don't know is Rodman didn't even make an all-star team. It was a lot of other stuff because he should have. But he didn't even make an all-star team with the Bulls, and Scottie didn't even make an all-star team in '98 because Jordan even said in the Last Dance, Scottie was he was selfish in not getting that surgery and missed most of the season in '98. You know, and a lot of people don't realize that was a completely different team, that second three-peat, than the first three-peat. The only players the same was Mike and Scottie.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and it wasn't with stars and stuff. Like they had Tony Kukoc come off the bench, and then that's when they had Steve Kerr and role players, and that's the difference with players today kind of being soft. Mike held them accountable. You know, these guys today, they ready to get traded or quit or, you know, get on social media if you cuss at them in practice or something, man. What you think about Ben Simmons' situation and how he could be possibly one of the best players in the NBA, but won't work on his game, and because he got trashed in the media for being scared to take a dunk because he can't hit free throws, he want to possibly get traded now.
I mean, well, at the end of the day, you got to produce. You got to produce, and the goal is to try to always work on your game to get better. So I know the fans are real displeased with him, but he's a talented player. So, you know, I wouldn't write him off just yet. You know, I think he will eventually develop into the player he's supposed to develop into. But for him not to be as skillful as he should be, he's pretty damn good. So if he could just work on his game, somebody will pick him up and hopefully benefit once he evolves.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, Ben Simmons, man, he got all the potential to be a legendary player, but unfortunately, you know, I don't think he's working on his game. And what do you think about this? This is one thing Michael Jordan said, is these guys are getting paid $100 million for they did any damn thing. What do you think about having to earn your contract like Mike and them players did versus these guys are got $100 million for they play one game?
So the people who are receiving is that you're certainly not bad at it. But I also understand where Michael is coming from too, so that's because he's been using social media. So I know more than stuff. And I don't know what to do.
You breaking up a little bit. What'd you say?
I said nobody wants to reach out and miss out on the next best thing. So, you know, often hype can get you more than actual customers can.
Right. That's true, man. That's definitely true. And you know, like and also people don't understand, like you were saying earlier, how much Mike changed the game. If it wasn't for Mike, people like LeBron wouldn't be getting $100 million Nike shoe contract before they ever step foot on the court. You know.
Yeah, I mean, when you put it in perspective, you know, for all these young kids, it talks about how much this new generation of athletes is bigger, better, and faster. Whose shoes do they have on their feet when they play?
Right.
There you go. That's Mike's impact.
Yeah, this dude ain't even played in 20 years, and they still rocking his shoes as if he the #1 player in the league today. So.
And he's got the #1 selling shoe, and he hasn't played in 20 years.
Yeah, that's dope. And a lot of things that people say that I try to tell them about with Mike versus LeBron is they say, well, LeBron had more assists or pass or whatever. That wasn't Mike's role, but it is years where he averaged 7 or 8 assists or rebounds or whatever, a couple years. Jordan had nobody on his team his first few years. But if Mike didn't get injured his second year and retire twice, his stats would be through the roof because he was 40, 39, and 40 years old his last 2 years and still was averaging 20 points a game. And his very last year in the league, he still played 82 games at 39, 40 years old and averaged 20 points a game both years as an old man.
Also, keep in mind, Mike didn't come straight out of high school. He retired 2 years to go play basketball. And the last year he retired from Chicago, he really didn't want to retire.
Right.
The Aries forced him out.
Right.
The Reinsdorf when they didn't want to retire Bill Jackson. So
Yep.
imagine if Mike came straight out of high school, he never retired for 2 years to go play baseball, and he played an additional year. And last year when he retired in '98.
Yeah, he was gone for like 3 years that second time.
Right. And here's another stat for you. Even when Michael Jordan came back to play for the Wizards, he averaged 25 points at 45 years old, which is exactly what Kobe was averaging in his prime.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Mike, man, he put up some stats, man. Mike, and he worked, man. When he very first came back, he still had it, but he was a little out of shape. But that next year, like, he played every game. He put in the work, even as an old man with nothing to prove, playing for league minimum. And another thing that some people try to argue with me is they said Mike got fired because of what he did to Kwame Brown. And I said, no, Mike had to give up his ownership because you can't be an owner with the Wizards and play for the team. And they just didn't offer him back after that, but he didn't get fired. You know.
Yeah, you don't fire Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan walks away.
Right. Exactly. And what do you think about how people try to say Michael Jordan ruined Kwame Brown? Because Michael Jordan came from the school of, I'm going to tell you, you ain't nothing until you get mad and show me you are. And Kwame Brown couldn't do it. So they say Kwame Brown got destroyed by Mike. What you think about that?
I listen, there might be truth to that. Some dudes can't take that. And when you're young and you're coming in the league, you're fragile-minded, and you're emotionally brittle. You got one of the gods of basketball in your ass, it might fuck you up.
Right.
So, maybe it did to some degree.
Man, that's true.
But then again, that shows you the difference between a guy like Kwame Brown and Kobe Bryant. I mean, one of my favorite stories that Kobe always told was, he said when he first played Mike, some of his teammates were like, hey man, whatever you do, don't look him in the eye. He said to them, why would I not look him in the eye? You guys need to understand, I'm that.
Right.
So, for a young dude to put his dick on the table like that and be like, yo, I'm as dope as him.
Right.
Out of here.
Right.
That shows you the difference.
Right. And that's that old school mentality. Me and Kobe the same age. His birthday a few days before mine. So we like really the last of the old school generation born in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? We didn't grow up with computers and the internet and all that stuff or whatever. So like if somebody come at you, you supposed to come back. You ain't supposed to fold. You know what I'm saying? And Kobe, they said one of his main factors of coming out early is he wanted to play Mike and he didn't want Mike to retire. You ever heard that one?
No, I never heard that.
Yeah, because he came out in 96, which was Mike's first year back. Full year back, rather. First full year back. And he wanted to play Mike. He didn't want Mike to, he didn't want to miss the chance of playing against Mike. So, that was tight right there. And another story that I remember hearing is, remember Rip Hamilton played with Jordan on the Wizards. And he asked Mike, can I wear your shoes? Like be a person that's on your shoe line. And Mike was like, nah, people like you don't get to wear my shoes.
I heard that.
Yeah. But Rip didn't fold. He worked on his game, and by the end, when he was with Detroit, he was wearing Jordan brand. You know, so like that's the difference between like a Rip versus a Kwame Brown. And a lot of people try to argue with me and say, Kwame Brown ain't a bust. He played 10 years. He made such and such money. It's a difference between being a bust and not living up to expectations and then being a bust in life. He's not a bust in life. He made 40, 50 million dollars. He played 10 years in the NBA or whatever. He succeeded in life. But as far as being the #1 pick, do you think it's more emphasis? Because some people saying, well, it don't mean nothing being #1. That means that you had the best projections to be somebody. Do you think it matters being #1 pick or no?
You know, I think listen, there are guys who weren't #1 picks and went on to surpass expectations. So ultimately, yes, it's about what you do, but you're a #1 pick for a reason. And if you do all the things that you're supposed to do as the #1 pick, you're supposed to be followed with all-star appearances.
Right.
Getting into the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Championship.
Yeah.
So, you don't have to be #1 to be the best, but if you are #1, you should be the best.
Right. Right. At least you got to be an all-star minimum. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You are projected to be the surefire best, prospect out of all that draft. You may not end up being the best player, but you have to be a player though.
I mean, look, Charles Barkley never won a championship. He was a several-time All-Star and Olympic gold medalist. He's inducted into the Hall of Fame. His career had everything it needed but the ring.
Right.
And, a lot of guys should have had that ring, but number 23 was in the way.
Right, right. Charles Barkley just did an interview with Bob Costas. He said, hey, look, if I'd have known they were going to put much emphasis on getting a ring, I'd have joined a super team with Michael Jordan. I would have said, hey, Michael, let's play together, man. I need a ring.
Yeah, that's not half bad. That's not half bad.
I've been working on it, man. I've been working on it. But
he said, I try to get a championship.
But yeah. But Barkley, man, man, people don't understand how dope Barkley was. I was talking to somebody and they was trying to compare him, not trying to be like they don't know or disrespectful, but they was asking, is Draymond Green a good comparison to Barkley? And I don't think so.
Not at all.
Yeah. Not.
You might, in a couple of years, you might be able to compare Zion Williams.
That's exactly who I said. That's exactly who I said.
Or compare him to Karl Malone.
Yeah.
But no. Draymond Green is too light in the
Right. Yeah. Zion Williamson is the exact comparison I use, man. He's the perfect comparison to Barkley, man. And even Barkley, when he got with Phoenix and got older, learned to shoot the three. The three ball wasn't part of their game when they came in the 80s, and by the 90s, hell, remember Mike dropped all them threes in the finals on Drexler head.
Yeah.
So if Mike would have came out today, he would have been working on his three from jump. It would have been part of his game from the beginning.
Exactly.
Yeah, so he definitely would have dropped 40 a game. Plus, you can't hand check. You can't touch nobody. Barkley, all of those legendary players, and I know people like to say, y'all old heads always say that y'all people would dominate, but they would dominate this game right now today,
people got to protect their current generation. I understand where it comes from.
Right.
But, if you just go by the simple eye test, and some of the stats, it's ludicrous to think that those old school players wouldn't dominate today's game.
Right, man, for real. I mean, they dominated when you could get your ass beat in the paint. You know what I mean? Right. The Pistons really made up the Jordan rules, which is really one rule: beat his ass, and they got away with it. And until Scottie Pippen got over his little headaches and migraines and stuff. So, yeah. I got one person in the comments said Aries is the reason I keep peanut butter in my glove compartment now. What's that mean?
That's hilarious. I do a joke about retarded people, and I talk about Meaning I would put peanut butter on my dick and she would lick it off with that face.
Oh snap! Yeah, that definitely would come in handy. Yeah, definitely. So, man, yeah, man, I think that a lot of players in this era, they got skill, but I think that they got babied, and I think one of the main turning points when the NBA shifted. And they just put this on Netflix. A lot of people younger people don't know or remember this. Is that Malice in the Palace? What you think about that incident and the shift in the NBA?
Yeah, I actually talk about that on the latest episode of my podcast, which just dropped today.
Okay.
So we actually discussed that. It was a great documentary, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. And it was cool to see it from different angles and from different perspectives. And it was some wild shit. But the most thing is I felt sorry for Reggie Miller because I truly believe that they would have won a ring that year.
Yeah.
But when you get players like Ron Artest, who's a loose cannon, Steven Jackson, who be on his street shit.
Yeah.
It's an explosive mixture.
Yeah. And at the time when that happened, I had just moved in Indianapolis. Like maybe the year before. And so I was living here at the time. Steven Jackson had got into it at a strip club one time, bust off some shots, and niggas stole on him and shit in the parking lot. Ron Artest would be on one. But they had so much talent, man. Ron Artest was averaging like 25 points a game. He was probably arguably the best defensive player in the NBA at the time. Jermaine O'Neal was still got some gold, 20-something points a game. Reggie Miller was still 15-point producer, at the time. And they had a really good team, and they was beating the Pistons' ass, if I remember right. I didn't see the documentary because I didn't get a chance yet. But I think they was about to win that game. And
they were basically winning the game.
Yeah.
So like I said, man, Reggie Miller being one of the greatest players ever play. And, Jordan stood in the way of him winning championships. But that was his year.
Right.
And they kind of screwed that up for him. And then the ugly irony of it all is that, both Steven Jackson and Ron Artest went on to win championships.
Right.
The bad guys won and the good guy didn't.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Jermaine O'Neal didn't.
Yeah, and Jermaine O'Neal still pissed at Ron because he wanted to be friends with the dude and talk to him with the dude he was fighting, but he never reached out to Jermaine O'Neal to make up with him about that.
Right, and for some reason, it seems like that event just totally threw Jermaine O'Neal off his game. Because, he was basically a superstar prior to that moment, but once that moment happened, everything kind of changed for him.
It did. He damn near was like, he went downhill. You're right. That's crazy though, because like he didn't get hurt really or nothing. It's like it really did throw him off his game. He was putting up like 20, 25 and 10, and then the next year he barely put up 20. Then he was in the teens. Then he was like off the team and shit.
Yeah, brother, man. I got 5 more minutes left, brother.
All right, no problem, man. I appreciate you for coming through. What's the name of your podcast again, so I let my viewers out there know to check you out?
Yeah, it's called Spears and Steinberg. It's available on all streaming platforms: Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Podbean, Stitcher. Wherever you find your local podcast, we on it.
Okay, there you go, man. Y'all check it out, man. They got different topics they talk about. You had guests on as well. I saw on Instagram you got a couple guests scheduled to come up. What's that gonna be like?
I think it's brother Riza Islam, a wonderful lady by the name of Erica Lachey, and we're gonna talk about some of this vaccinated versus unvaccinated war that seems to be going on, as well as some other things in the Black community and things that we should be educated about.
Yeah, definitely. I talk about that stuff as well on my channel on Fridays, like news, vaccinated, different stuff. And are you vaccinated, by the way?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I am vaccinated myself, although I just got vaccinated a couple weeks ago. I was not necessarily thinking it's the, you know, some proverbial mark of the beast, or they trying to kill black folks, because it ain't like they got a separate vax for black folks and then they got one for everybody else. It's the same shot for everybody. So if they go kill everybody, they go give everybody the same thing. You know what I mean? So that's one thing.
And a lot of the niggas that talking about they trying to kill black folks, the same niggas walking around with guns in their pants, ready to shoot a fellow black person or smoking Newports and drinking alcohol all day.
That's true. That's true. You got a great point there. You know, they drinking St. Ides and Big Bear all night. and they don't know nothing about school. They dropped out, but now they know about, you know, science and vaccines now.
Yeah, everybody's a Google scientist.
Right. So, you know, that's real funny and crazy how everybody say that. And then another thing is, I don't understand. Okay, if you don't want to take the vaccine, that's one thing. But why you don't want to wear a mask either? Why you don't want to do neither? I don't understand that.
Yeah, it makes no sense, brother.
Yeah.
Wild and crazy out here.
It is, man. Well, hey, man, I appreciate your time, man. I appreciate you making it happen. You know, I know you're busy, got a busy schedule. And I appreciate you coming through and hollering at my channel and with my peeps. And, you know, definitely we can try to make this happen again in the future, man. I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you too, brother. And again, I apologize for all the mishaps, but shit just get crazy sometimes.
Right. I understand, man. I understand. And, you know, I appreciate you for, you know, not forgetting about a brother and coming through. So, you know, I'm trying to do something out here and trying to make it, and I appreciate you stopping through, helping out, man.
You got it, man. Anytime.
All right, you take care and be safe out there.
All right, brother.
All right, and I'm gonna catch you next time you come in town too, man.
Sure.
All right, peace, man.
All right.
All right. All right, man. That was comic legend Aries Spears on the phone. He came through. He gave the interview. I appreciate his time. I appreciate him dropping a little info about what he thought between MJ versus LeBron. I wish I was able to promote it so that more people could have came live. But unfortunately, with things and schedules and everything, I wasn't able to promote it. But y'all know me. I don't give up. I'm going to make stuff happen. You know, that's just in my DNA. I'm not a quitter. So that's why I still use drugs, because I don't quit. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit that like, subscribe, bang that bell, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.